Morning all. A quick video. I always say that, but they always turn out longer than I expected. But in the last video about training or small bike, I sort of did an off-the-cuff comment about, best thing to do is buy a £1,000 bike and just go off-roading, which I still sort of stick by. But as somebody in the comments said, well, what would you buy for £1,000? And there's not bike prices have gone up, certainly second-hand stuff. And you can't get what you used to be able to get for £1,000 or less. But looking on Facebook Marketplace, there's still a fair few little nuggets out there. A lot of it Chinese, the old Sinis or Mash and things like that. There's also, you might find a C90 or a Sinis. I found a Sinis Terrain for £500. So there's certainly bikes out there for less than £1,000. And I think they would still be the best way of people going off-road for the first time or just going off-road, because you wouldn't care if you dropped it. You wouldn't care if you broke it. It's not £1,000 not disposable, but it's a lot more disposable than your brand new 12 grand 890 KTM. So it got me thinking: who would be interested in doing a £999 budget trail bike challenge, whereby you go out? Obviously, it's your money, not mine. But I take my grand and we go out and buy £1,000 trail bike, and we can share it around. We can do little videos on other people's bikes, and then 2023 we have a couple of events, I guess initially down here in Devon, because that's where I live, where people can come down for the weekend. We get a bunkhouse and we go and do some basic trails. So all these bikes you bought, this £999 bike, we go trail riding and we do some trails and we go out exploring. And then if there's interest, we could do one in the Peak District in Wales and stuff like that. So it was just an idea born out of the comments that came up in the last video, that maybe there are people sat at home saying, I do want to get out of the trails, I do want to explore, I want to fall back in love with the simplicity of motorcycling. And so I question whether there's enough people out there to make it worth running a £999 budget trail bike challenge. And if so, just say yes in the comments, and if we've got a dozen, 2 dozen or whatever people who are keen to give it a go, let's do it. Let's have a grand adventure bike challenge, and then next year I'll put on a couple of weekends where you can bring your bike, either ride it or van it or whatever, and you come down. Obviously, got to be road legal. They've got to be up rest. It can't be pit bikes and stuff. They've got to be a road legal bike. You can even lie and say you got it for £1,000 when it might cost you £1,500. Who cares? It's not. We're not a stickler for the rules, but if you've got any enthusiasm to have a bit of fun on a motorbike, and I suppose you've got £1,000 to spend, or not necessarily waste, because you'll always get your money back on it, I think. Then say yes in the comments, and let's do it. Let's make 2023 the year of budget bike trail adventure. All right. Might see you in the comments. If there's no comments, then I'll forget all about this idea. But yeah, cheers.